have not been able to let this book go, and I wanted to do a few different videos on YouTube talking about some of the themes that really stood out to me in Hooked by Asako Yuzuki. I read this, I think, 2 months ago. It must, oh no, maybe not, maybe like a month and a half ago. It's very close to my cat's dinner time, so you will hear him meowing in the background because, you know, it's an hour away, but still that's close enough. So I'm going to be talking about something that interests me in my own life, which is female friendships, groups of female friends, and how that's seen in society. In my first video, I talked about family and how your childhood impacts you into adulthood. So I will link that in the description box below if you want to see that first video. As well as I talk about the characters a bit more, I will do the briefest of summaries for this video, just in case you want to know. But we have our two main characters, Asako, who works in a food trading company in Tokyo. It's a job that her dad had. She's very driven. She looks very put together on the outside. She puts in a lot of hours into her job. She's good at her job. There's not a lot of women that is in her position, and she is absolutely obsessed with an online blog, which is by Shoko, who writes about her lazy days being a housewife who doesn't do much cooking or cleaning and doesn't have kids. These are her own words. Oh my God, Mo. You be good. You be good. You get a chapter Asako's perspective, you get a chapter Shoko's perspective, and you see their emotions, anxieties, and fears just heighten throughout the book. And it is like, this book covers so much. It's actually kind of a crazy book. There are some extreme characters, which obviously show how like maybe Asako feels about herself. Oh my God, it's a wild. Oh, I don't even like saying wild, like, or you know, they say wild to describe something that happened that was very mundane. Like, no, that was not wild. That was just Tuesday night, okay? We're talking about female friendships, and I don't know about you, but I think in 2026, it's not as big of a thing to have huge female friend groups, even big friend groups in general. I was on social media the other day and I saw a woman who said, my biggest accomplishment, what I am most proud of in my life is my female friends, and kind of did this montage to this group of like 8 to 10 women in her life, which is so fabulous, amazing. But I don't think that's the norm anymore. And I do think that having like a group of girlfriends is something that is still pushed on women and girls, especially if you're in a school environment. If you don't have a lot of friends, that's seen as something kind of negative. And this is a major theme for both of these women, is that they don't have any female friends. They don't really have any friends in general. And it's not until they force themselves to be friends with each other that they figure out, okay, maybe this isn't for me. And I found that so relatable and interesting. Yes, I just kind of want to talk about how the two characters illustrate the extremes of loneliness in individuals in society. And like I've said a lot, this was written in 2015 or 2016, so we're 10 years away from this time now, and it's gotten even worse. And how pressures of society to have big friend groups and to be able to post about it, talk about how you're taking a vacation with your girlfriends, is like the ultimate luxury. You know, it's not just expensive clothing, expensive trips, it's also having a large group of friends that is keeping up with the Joneses, as they say. So in today's video, I want to analyze these two characters, Asako and Shoko, to help understand how the pressures of society can kind of warp our sense of self and make us chase the goals that maybe we wouldn't necessarily have for ourselves if they weren't pressed in on us. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Shoko first, because I think in my last video I talked about Asako. So Shoko admits that she's never really had female friends. She's always just had She's always just had boyfriends. She gets married to Kensuke, who she worked with, and seems to be having like a good time. She's just content to coast. But once Eriko comes into her life, and Eriko shows up to Shoko's apartment when she hasn't posted on the blog for 3 days, being very concerned about what's happened to Shoko. Her husband, Kensuke, starts to say to Shoko, you know, Eriko seems quite dangerous. That's not normal behavior, which it isn't. And Eriko does become slightly dangerous, verbally abusive towards Shoko. Like, it's not a good idea. But Shoko wasn't going to withdraw from the friendship until Kensuke said these things. Almost like plants it in her head. He even says she's jealous just because she's not married, meaning Eriko. Eriko doesn't have a boyfriend or a partner at the time. She's not married. She's married to her job, basically. And he's saying, well, you know, she's able to take all these business trips. She has beautiful clothes. You know, she has a good relationship with her parents, but she doesn't have a husband. She's totally missing out. She's jealous of you, and that's going to come out in a negative way. And even having Eriko in her life now, Shoko starts to feel these like weird feelings towards her. It's when Kensuke and Shoko are having this conversation about Eriko that, let's see, what does it say? It says, if only she hadn't met Eriko, this would have been a day when she could have wallowed in the comfort of her own home. And because this is something that her husband keeps bringing up, how Eriko is just jealous of her and she's not married, I think he really symbolizes, you know, whatever you want to call it, the patriarchy, societal pressures, or societal viewpoints, how females interacting can be perceived and critiqued. And you know, I even hear about this like from women as well. It's not just men. Women think it as well, is that the dynamics is always like negative, and someone will always be jealous of someone, and that is specific to like female friendships, which is just so not true. Listen, I worked in the trades. I've worked around a lot of men, and they are more dramatic than any of the women I have worked with in other industries. So, and who knows, maybe if Shoko didn't listen to her husband and just kept going with the friendship, maybe Eriko would have acted differently, and there wouldn't have been this meat defrosting in the sink. So he's trying to have a meat popsicle before dinner. And you know, society absolutely shapes how we act, and there's different rules still given towards women than there are for men. And your personality is influenced by that, whether we like it or not. You know, I'm just talking from a Sociology 100 course, so I don't totally know what I'm talking about. But the way that society and culture shape who you are is sometimes really frustrating, I find. And it's like, well, wait, I wouldn't think like this if it weren't taught to me, because it's just this thing that's in the air that we all abide by. I don't know. Anyways, I think I'm getting a little off topic. But especially in the case of Hooked, society perceives certain groups can affect how we make friends and are able to connect with other people. And then we have little Eriko. Oh, girl. So she had a really good friend when she was younger that ended in like middle school or high school. Her name's Kaiko. They all still live in the same building, Kaiko, Eriko, and they still live with their parents. And Eriko was absolutely wrong in her actions towards Kaiko. Kaiko started moving away from the friendship. As you do when you're younger, you start hanging out with other people. But Eriko just went 120% on her and tried to like threaten her public image. She said she was like sleeping with a man or something. It's interesting because you read the story and you're like, that's not that big of a deal. But it's how the adults react to these events. Like, Kaiko's parents don't believe her when she says, no, like, I'm not seeing anyone. I just told Eriko that so she would leave me alone. And it'd be a reason why I wasn't hanging out with her anymore, because I was like dating someone, but I can't tell her who it is because there's no one. She's not seeing anyone. And the parents don't believe her. Her dad actually gets so mad that he is violent towards her, hits her, and creates a scar that she still has into adulthood. And again, I think in a societal way, and this could be like just for everyone, but specifically because this book focuses on female friendship, how we're not taught how to disagree and bring up our emotions in like a healthy way. I think you learn that as a child through making mistakes. It's not like you're just gonna magically know how to talk about your feelings and everything, but the way that the parents react to it is what really creates a huge mess and is negative for both of these girls' futures when they become adults. You know, it's better to act out, to gossip, to like take the person down as Eriko was trying to do, rather than open up and tell someone how you're feeling. I think in both cases, both these women are let down by unresolved issues from their childhood. In your 30s, it's such a pivotal time where you look at your 20s and you're like, okay, see mistakes, how can I now fix it and maybe be who I actually want to be? Because you just try things in your 20s. I just found these two women, Eriko and Shoko, so interesting in their actions and in their thoughts. And I just wanted to talk about female friendship, and I'm not even sure where I'm not even sure where I end on this. Their characters just reflect what society kind of does to each of us, I think, and family relations, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, like I was saying earlier, and what that can do to what you pursue in life. I don't know how popular this book is because I don't post on like Instagram or TikTok, so I feel like you can see things really fast there with trends, and I haven't really seen this on YouTube yet. So if you've read it, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Also, I'd love for you to subscribe or like and comment. It really helps me out. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I love when you read a book and you just keep thinking about what happened and the characters and their actions. I think a big influence in my life when I was growing up was the TV show Friends, and seeing these people always hanging out together after work, you know, holidays. It set an idea in my mind of what friendship looked like, and yeah, it's not been like that. So I'm interested in, have you read this book? Are you gonna pick it up? Go to the library, go to the bookstore. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope I made sense with what I was trying to get across. Okay, I hope you're reading a good book, and I will see you in the next one.